Hello.
Hello.
Well, your audio's working.
Awesome. That's always good.
Hello.
Hello. How are you all? Are we waiting on
We're
someone
good.
else? Oh, wait. Nope, we were
Yeah,
waiting
Evan.
on Evan. Just
He's
popped
the
on.
main talking guy.
He's the main talker. Uh-oh.
Hey
So,
Jess, how are you?
hello. We're all here now.
Woo.
Lovely to
Yes.
meet you.
I wish Chris could be here. He wishes he could be here too, but he had to step away from the podcast for a little bit to deal with some health issues. So we all have been there.
Yeah, hopefully nothing too serious.
Nope, just something he has to take care of. So, but he does wish he could be here and he sends his regards.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Oh, good.
So how is it in the future?
Oh yeah. Well, it's currently, 10:30 a.m. in Sydney and beautiful and sunny. So expect clear skies.
It's
Yeah.
freezing where I am. Like I am so cold right now. I think it's like 11 or 10 degrees. I don't know if that's cold for you, Jess, I don't, but that's cold for me.
Where are you at?
Southern Highlands, so it's like south of Sydney, like towards Canberra.
Well, I'm in
Like not
Fahrenheit
even
here,
Melbourne yet. Like
so
I'm just a wuss. Where you're in Fahrenheit. Oh, of course. So I
yeah,
don't
so
even know what that
it was like 80 something today here, so
Oh, is
Ah,
that really hot or is that
it's pretty
you're
hot.
in summer?
It's pretty hot.
Okay, yeah.
I'm in Wisconsin,
righto.
so that's like Midwest, but northern Midwest in the United States, if you know
Yep,
where the
yep.
Midwest is and everything in the United States.
Of course.
I'm going to I'm
Midwest
going to
emo.
say yes.
I am
So
terrible with geography.
I'm decent with geography, but I mean I do have to look some stuff up sometimes. It wouldn't be my forte if I was doing trivia or something.
Oh,
That's for
Yeah, no,
sure.
that's what Google's for.
Oh no.
I am. Hey, my friends call me Miss Google, so anytime they're talking about something, I'm like already looking it up to see if we're right, you know? And they're like, just ask Google. And they point to me, and I'm like, yeah, I already have the answer. But that's just how I am. But I'm probably not the only one.
No, that's your designated role in the friend group. Yeah.
I'm the Googler.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get this party started. Typical first question. Could you please introduce yourselves and the role you play in the band?
All right, well I'll go first. How you going? I'm Evan. I play the drums and lovely to be here. Super pumped to talk to you.
Who's
Liv,
next?
you can go next.
Yeah. I'm Liv. I am the vocalist, and this is my first time doing a podcast, which is I'm super excited about, and I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here as well.
Cool. Hi, I'm Josh. I'm the guitarist of the band. I write a lot of the music too, and I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Well, you're part of the band. That's why you're here.
Expect great things though.
So how did all you guys meet and what was Forever at Midnight's origin story? Or is, I should
Ooh.
say, is your
Well,
origin
Evan
story?
slid into my DMs. I had a cheeky DM. I was like, hey.
Actually, there's a bit of a backstory. Like so basically, Josh and I we've been in a bunch of previous bands together. We've been like writing and collaborating for probably like 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember we went out to the Burdekin Hotel to go see another bunch of bands, and Josh and I, we had been looking for a new vocalist for our new project for probably about like 5 or 6 months, and we've had a bunch of like hit and misses, to say the nice way about it. Um, and then yeah, basically yeah, went out there to see a bunch of bands, and I didn't know Liv from a bar of soap. I knew that she played synth and keys for another band, and me and Josh were just there like jamming out, and I was like, oh, like she can sing. I could see her as like a front woman, and we were basically just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to hit her up and just see like what her schedule is and like what her life plans are to be in a band. So yeah, as Liv said, just like slid into those DMs and just hit her up to see where she was and like what she wanted to achieve like as a vocalist as well. And like, to be honest, I didn't think it took much convincing for to to get her on board and like write some demos. That was like basically what Josh and I really needed, was for someone to like take control of like all these songs that Josh and I have had like in the bank for so long, just without a vocalist. We've just been like churning out like jams and recordings and songs for like a couple of years, but we just couldn't get a vocalist like on board for long enough to actually like make it their own. So yeah, talk to Liv, and I'm just like, look, we've got this like epic pop punk track that we've had sitting in the bank for like 5-6 years, and plenty of people had a go, and not that they failed, but it just wasn't what we were after. And we're like, look, blank canvas, here's the track, do whatever you want with it. And she's like, yeah, all right, okay. And literally smashed it out of the ballpark, and really fast too. That was a whole nother problem. You know, when you like audition new band members and you give them like a bit of a project and you're like, where have they been for the last like 2 weeks? And then there's like excuses and all this. But Liv was like, nah, yo guys, here's my demo. And me and Josh were like, oof, oh, this
I
is the
literally did not
goods.
sleep. Like, that's all I did. I was like,
She was
Well, to be
dedicated.
honest, I was really, yes, she was. I was really surprised because I think we ended up sending her about 10 tracks and she wrote 1 track a week. I've never seen a vocalist write 1 track a week before.
She's definitely
Like
dedicated.
Oh man, like the dedication was just tenfold to basically anything that we'd really dealt with before with like auditioning new singers. And so yeah, smashed that out of the ballpark, gave her another couple, and you know, we dabbled with those ones. And then basically it came down to a question. It was like, do you want to be a part of this band? And can you like give all your time and energy to us? And then I don't know, like it felt like she went and had a bit of a think about it, resigned from the other band and joined us, and here we are.
Yeah, we kind of, we
I hope there's no
definitely
bad
got
blood.
down on our knees.
I like to use the word poaching. We definitely poached her.
Oh gosh. I don't know if you want to talk about poaching
very
though.
professional.
No.
Hopefully your old band doesn't have any bad blood with you. Or are
No,
they?
not at all. No, I went to high school with one of them. They're a bunch of beautiful people. We're still on really good terms.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
and I
that's
wish
good.
them the
That's
best.
good.
Yeah.
Hopefully they found a different singer.
So I was actually on keys and backing
Okay.
vocals. So
Well.
they had little snippets of my little backing vocals, and then they messaged me and they're like, "We know you can do backing, so can you do lead?" And then I was like, "I really hope I can, and I'm going to prove to you guys I can." But yeah, that was, they kind of heard a little bit, and they were like, "Is there more there?"
And there was. There was
There was
more.
heaps of.
Yeah. So much than what everybody is under the illusion of. Like there's so much to come. Like,
Yeah. So I've always wanted to visit Australia. Have you guys lived in the Sydney area your whole lives? How is the music scene there?
you go, Josh.
I was born and bred here. I don't know. To be honest, I've been in and out of the scene for a couple of years now, and at the moment, it is kind of hard to find a good sort of starting point to jump in.
Mhm.
It wasn't as great as it used to be. I kind of wish I was born 10 years earlier. Because I feel like music scene in Sydney was really thriving in the 90s and the early 2000s, but nowadays it's a bit on and off.
Right.
It's really hard to find a good venue that's going to continually pump live gigs because there's a lot less support from just people in general, as well as sort of like there's not much government footing or funding towards these kinds of things at the moment. It's really difficult to get your foot in the door. Also, just if you think about like the international acts, because we're so far away from everywhere else, even if I do go out to watch a show from a famous band, it costs quite a lot of money to go purchase tickets now. It's a little bit difficult, but I think we'll get there eventually. We just need a lot more support from just the general populace as well, getting the music scene back up and lively again. Whatever happened in 2021 just didn't help much either.
Right.
The whole sort of lockdown situation that we had here as well completely shut down the doors of a lot of few famous venues in Sydney, definitely. Evan, anything else?
Yeah, like I definitely agree with a lot of that. Like when Josh and I like first met and like in our first band, that was like 2016 or 2015 or something. Like in that year, we played over 50 shows at probably like 30 different venues across like the east coast of Australia. And then basically when being in other bands, like a lot of those venues like started closing and couldn't support the live music scene, and a lot of government funding wasn't like going into like saving these like really important venues. And so I guess like fast forward like after COVID, and here we are now. There's still a solid like 5-6 venues in Sydney CBD. Not to mention the bigger venues, because like obviously they're more for like big international acts that are touring. But if we're talking about like your live local scene bands that are like really grinding behind the scenes, there's probably 5 or 6 venues in Sydney that cater for those guys, but it's a shit fight to get a gig there, and then like to get the support from the venue and then get paid, because no one wants to just like play for fucking exposure. We're all trying to like go as hard as we can. So to get paid, to get like your friends and family out there to support you, to have other bands that want to support you is another like problem in itself, because it just seems like one giant competition. And like I get it, like that's what it is. Everybody's trying to be the best that they can in the scene, but I feel like the camaraderie is just like so high. It does make it challenging with like limited venues, and then even to tour, like for us, if we want to go to like Queensland or Melbourne, which is only like an hour flight away, but then you got to add up like all the money and the logistics. Are we going to drive? Are we going to fly? Like what venues are going to want some local Sydney band? They're not going to make us any money. Why should we help them out? So there's all that as well. I don't want to turn it into like a negative thing, but it is quite challenging at the moment. But I honestly do feel like in like Newtown and Marrickville and the CBD, it's going up a bit, just slowly.
Yeah, I mean, there's cities around here in the United States that have better scenes than others. So I mean, it's going to be like that everywhere for sure. And I know I get that you're talking about like some venues don't want to pay you, or you want to get paid because you are artists and you want to be able to record music, and recording costs money.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
get it all. I mean, yeah, and I see that COVID definitely made its mark on a lot of musicians, and venues. Unfortunately, we lost some around here, but I mean, they're still going. Just got to start over, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And you go, Liv.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's like COVID definitely did not help like the situation with the venues like not being able to like the capacities and all of that, and then just with the like the way the economy is going and ticket prices, and we've had so many festivals getting cancelled, like so many big ones in a row, or just being straight up not even cancelled for that year, but just like this isn't probably happening anymore, and it's just like really really tragic to see. And it's like, support your local scene, but there's also an understanding for like the climate of the economy, and it's just, yeah, it's such a tricky like place I think to be in as like wanting to go and watch shows and playing in a band. Like it's just, yeah, you can really feel the pressure I think of the times for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, on to talking about a little bit of music. You guys released your debut single on August 2nd of this year. I have to say, I really love the song. It's powerful, catchy, and very melodic. I saw recently that it hit over 3,000 plays on, I'm assuming Spotify. I'm
Yeah,
assuming
Yes,
Spotify.
yes,
Spotify.
Spotify.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That being said, how has it been received, and when can fans expect to hear more?
Uh, I'll go, I suppose. Uh, look, I was kind of given the reins to lead the talking a bit.
That's fine.
So, the question meant to be how was it received? Me personally, I was very nervous, especially with Josh and I's like previous bands that we've been in, that like were relatively successful in the local scene. I always felt a bit of pressure and kind of those anxious feelings of like, oh, like Josh and Evan are working together and they've got a new vocalist, and what are they going to release? Is it going to be the same stuff, or all that stuff that like probably no one really cares about, but I still think about. For me, I actually truly believe it was a success. I'm so grateful and so humbled by the response about all our old friends and family and scene that have been like sticking by us for all those years and transitions through different bands. I'm so grateful that everybody got on board, especially with the new direction we chose, like that more nostalgic 2000s pop punk, where are a bit different from what we used to write. So yeah, very, very happy with how it was received, and gained, new friends, new family in the scene that have jumped on board our adventure, and very humbled by all the people that stuck by us, laying dormant for a while until we released new music. So yeah, super happy. Josh?
Yeah, I was really excited when we released this track because it was sort of something that I'd been working on for such a long time. It was like a sigh of relief when it came out. Um, I wasn't expecting this amount of positive feedback when we released it as well, because I was just thinking it was going to be sort of like a mediocre response because, like Evan said, we were fairly quiet in our activities in the scene for a while. But yeah, it was quite well received, so I was quite happy. And funnily enough, we have a new song coming out 4 days ago, if that kind of makes sense, which kind of steers us into like a polar opposite direction. So we're sort of hitting the two sort of genres of music that we really wanted to release personally. Yeah, expect more great things, I think. I'm looking really forward to the future.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear more.
I mean, the past.
That's it. I think for me, it was super exciting because it's the first project I've been a part of, like with the writing of the music. So my previous band was just jumping on after the fact, and doing the gigs and the shows, which is like the 5% of actually being in a band and the most fun part, I would say. So for me, it was super exciting. And definitely like my background is more like musical theatre, and that's what my family has always kind of known me as. So then for them to kind of hear like, oh, this is what Liv's doing now, I think the pop punk one was a really good one to release first, because they're like, this is cute, like this is a bop, but like the next one, I'm like, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, like that, okay, that's a bit different, but like, so I think it was
She could do this too.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep people thinking.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I definitely appreciated all the feedback and the love, and it was so cute to see like my friends would send me videos and then like listening along to Meant to Be in the car, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's really just been a dream come true, as cliche as that sounds, but it's something I've thought about my whole life, and being finally here is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's nice when dreams come true though. So I'm glad
Isn't
you
it?
had a dream come true.
Sounds a bit Disney, but yeah.
Hey,
That's it.
we all like Disney movies. If you don't,
We're
I
all
don't
for Disney.
know. Do we all like Disney?
Of course.
Okay,
of
okay.
course.
We gotta make sure we all like Disney.
Lion King was my life.
Lion King, Emperor's New Groove. Oh, they're all
Emperor's New Groove
fantastic.
was so good.
Oh,
See, and
what a movie.
I'm an old lady, so I saw Lion King when it was in the theaters when I was a kid. So
I had the videotape, and I had to
I
keep
do have the
rolling it back
videotape
to
too, but I
The
saw it in the
chunky,
theaters.
yeah.
I cried. I cried when Mufasa died.
How can you
Oh, we all
not?
did.
How can you not? How can you not?
Yeah. Are you even human if you don't? Like, come on.
I don't know. There might be some robots out there. You never know.
Well, yeah. Well, we are in the future. We're in the future right
It's
now.
true. Are
so-
there robots? Are there robots in the future?
I can confirm no robots at 10:50 a.m. in the future.
Okay, no robots yet. Keep on the lookout, though. Keep
Still
on the
hope.
lookout.
Keep on the lookout.
They may build them in 12 hours.
Never know. Never know. So you guys were talking about how you and Josh, Evan and Josh, you guys have like written other songs and everything. So I'm assuming that Meant to Be, obviously it's not the only song you've written. But with that being said, what is your guys' writing process like?
So I'll take reins on this one.
Yeah,
I do a lot of the writing. I do a lot of the writing at home. I've got like a little home studio set up for me. And basically anytime, I've got a bank of about 50, 60 songs at any given moment. And then I sort of give them to Evan and see which one he likes. and then if he picks and chooses which one he prefers, then I focus on them, and I turn them into a full length demo, and then I send them off to both Liv and Evan to write their own parts for the music. In general, if ever Liv want me to write a song of a certain sort of feel or theme, or if there's a song that they really like, so they send me a few tracks from other bands that they're like, this is kind of cool, I kind of want to write a song like this, then I kind of write a song like that as well and send it to them. I don't really have a strict process, and I don't really work with sort of inspiration. I just kind of work to a timeline. I'm a bit robotic in the way that my process is, but I find that it works for me.
You said robotic.
I'm not a robot.
Are you sure you're not a robot?
Just open me up.
He's blinking.
All right, I interrupted you, but keep going, please.
Yeah, that's about it.
About it.
Once I send them over to Evan, he rewrites all my drums because he doesn't like most of the drum parts I write, because he can't physically play them because it doesn't sound human at all.
Well, yeah, it's hard because you probably make electronic drums, and then he's trying to make them real drums.
Yeah,
and it is
I
a little
program
different.
a lot of the drums
I've
for the
heard.
demos. Yeah.
So then, how do you deal with that then, Evan? Do you just go through and just put your own little twist on things?
Basically, yeah. You know, I think for this first batch of songs that we were working on, that we have had written for like a while, but you know, as time and life goes, I'll get like a batch of songs and I'll write to my favorite ones, and then maybe push a few aside that don't really speak to me, and then you know, kind of come back to them and then rewrite them. I seem to just rewrite drum parts like all the time, which I'm sure is infuriating, especially when I'll send like a full finished demo over, and then I'll be like, hey Josh, this one's done, and then I might stumble upon it 3 months later and I'll be like, oh no, I don't like that anymore, I'm going to rewrite this chorus, something that I've heard or whatever.
It's okay, you've only done it 28 times.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, like Josh normally will send me over like a batch of 3 or 4 songs. Obviously the ones that I connect with immediately, I'll just like throw into my DAW like straight away and just like jam to them. I actually remember a few months ago, I was just like, yo, Josh, I think you should write like another pop punk meant to be. And I honestly feel like in the space of like 12 hours with a message that went out, say in the morning on a Friday, I was just like, yo, write me another pop punk song. So he did. Then that afternoon, he sent me the demo. And then within 3 hours, I completely overhauled and rewritten the drums. Then I sent it back to him and I was like, I think we're finished. And he's like, yeah, I think this one's done.
Yeah, it sounds good. It's finished.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, honestly, that's how fast like our writing process can be. And that's the one thing that I love working with Josh. Like, I just feel like we're 2 peas in a pod. We love a lot of the same music. You know, he can go a bit like K-pop. I can go a bit, I don't know, extra whiny Tom DeLonge stuff, which is like my like stuff that I love. So yeah, like anywhere between like I said, 12 hours to sometimes I might sit on something for a couple of months where I just like, oh, I just can't figure out this chorus. Like I can't figure out what it's supposed to be, or like what my drums are supposed to be. And then sometimes I might just leave a whole section, wait till Liv does some vocals, and then it will come back to me with the programmed drums, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I can hear what I'm supposed to be playing here, because now I have a bit of context with the vocals. I'm a massive person that will follow the melody of lyrics as well. I always feel it's important to accent and really not overcomplicate things, and really what's the word, like mesh the vocals and the drums together to like make something full. Big firm believer of that. So yeah, I'll love a rewrite, I guess, in a nutshell.
I think we both make a lot of room for the vocals. I think vocals is always king. So
I
Liv,
think
you
it's
are
really
always
funny
on
you
top.
say that because I often write like some of my vocal parts, especially like breakdowns and like specific parts that have like a really intense feel to them or like a really subtle feel based on the drums. And then Evan's probably hearing my stuff and he's like, oh no, I do something completely different there. And I get it back and I'm like, but I need that to get there. And like we just both bouncing off
Yeah,
each other.
yeah. Stop rewriting it. I just wrote it. I'm like, no. I'm hearing something different now. Yeah.
And I'm like, that
Yeah.
vocal bit
And
doesn't sound the same to me. Why isn't that the same? Like Evan's changed the drums.
yeah, yeah. But
It's
I
okay.
like once again,
Perfectionism never hurt anyone. So
yeah. Over affection. But like honestly, that really fits into like why us three like work so well together. And a lot of people just don't realize how like what we've done like accomplished as a band in the last like almost year now. Behind the scenes, I know we've only released like one song, but what we've actually accomplished as a trio, as a band, is just it's wild compared to like other projects we've been in of how fast and how just like the cohesion has been like amazing.
I mean, you guys were meant to be.
Oh,
how do you not
well
see
played.
that?
Well
See,
played.
you were meant to be. You were meant to be.
Yeah,
But I don't, a
yeah,
lot of bands will, some bands will do like guitar first, some will do drums first, some will do vocals first, and then add music later. So it's always interesting to me to hear how people go about their writing process. So I find it interesting that Josh is the one that does it all, and he does it more electronic and then sends it to you, and then Liv adds in the lyrics and everything. So interesting stuff. I love hearing how everyone else does it because I've had multiple different ways like talked about on the podcast.
I think it's
So
pretty unique too because
I
we've
think my
had the songs like written previously with Josh and Evan being like, mucking around with songs for like several years now. And then there being like so many songs in the bank. So we hadn't had the experience yet of all kind of like coming together like on a writing session. So I think whether that means that our process like changes in time or whether we kind of keep that, to one person to the next will be interesting to kind of see like how that evolves. Yeah.
right. I think you guys will get better with your writing process as you go along, you know?
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
You just
definitely.
you're
I think my
you're a pretty
favorite.
new band and you just released a first single, so it'll get better
Yeah, exactly right.
for sure. So I want to backtrack a little bit. When did you guys first realize you wanted to be musicians?
you go, Josh.
Oh, okay. So, I think I actually originally wanted to be a drummer. Back when I was probably in the first year of high school. I couldn't afford a drum kit, but my sister used to play guitar. So she kind of gave me her guitar. She grew up listening to like post rock, things like Smashing Pumpkins and like the Smiths and stuff like that. So I quickly picked that up. And then during high school, I decided I don't want to study. So I studied music a little bit and then I went to study music at JMC, which is a private university in Australia. Um, and actually, while I was there, it wasn't the greatest of experiences. It kind of put me off being a musician, just seeing other musos working. I kind of didn't like all of the ego battles. And I'm not saying that everybody is like this. It's just the things that I've experienced when I was in my like late teens and stuff like that. Um, Currently, I am working full time as an audiologist, and I've got a master's degree in clinical audiology. And I have no idea how I ended up here, but my thought transition was originally I wanted to be a musician and then realized I didn't want to be a musician. And now that I'm working full time, I really love being a musician, if that makes sense.
Just bouncing back
But
and
I
forth.
think, yeah, like meeting people like Evan and like Liv has brought me really back into this world, and I'm loving every minute of it now.
For
Next.
Plus,
sure.
I can afford all the instruments
Now you
now.
can get a drum kit.
I could. I've given up on that. After seeing Evan play, I'm just like, nah, it's way too technical. I can't move my feet that well.
There's still time. You can still learn.
It's
Oh,
okay. I can't play.
so you
I
do
couldn't
it. You
even
do it.
play.
Feet, and you can do the hands.
I couldn't even play rock band drums. So
Yeah, I think looking back, I have this like strong, like the strongest core memory of being like about 6 years old and just crying because my mum wouldn't let me audition for Australia's Got Talent. I wanted to sing. I think it was My Heart Will Always Go On by Celine Dion, or it was Whitney Houston. It was like one of the two. And my mum was like, honey, like, I'm so supportive of like, you learning to sing, but like, no, honey, like that's. And I was furious. I was furious at my mom. I was like, she doesn't accept me. She doesn't understand me. And yeah, I think that was probably around that time was when I probably wanted to make music my life.
You wanted to stick it
In
to your mom
rebellion.
at 6 years old.
That's it. Rebellious nature since then.
Evan.
Oh, I think for me and the drums, it's just always been one of those things where every time I went and saw live music, I would just be in awe of the drummer. And it was probably around like maybe 15, 16 or 17, something like that. And one of my friends, he had just like bought a drum kit. And I'll give you a bit of a backstory if you want. We were at a LAN party, if you know what that is, where all sitting around
Back in the
playing.
day.
Back in the day, playing Warcraft, and my mate had a drum kit, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I love the drums. I've never tried, but how hard can it really be? So, like, throughout the day, I would just like go sit on his drum kit and just do the standard, boom, boom. And I was like, oh yeah, this isn't that hard. And then like I'll just always go to his house just to play the drums. I was always going to other people's houses to play the drums. And then one day I was just like, you know what? I'm not even going to tell anyone. I'm not even going to tell my parents. I'm just going to go and buy a drum kit. So jumped onto eBay, went and bought like my first drum kit for $300, brought it home in the back of my wagon car, came up the driveway, and my parents were like, what is this? And I was like, just bought a drum kit. I'm ready to go. So,
like parents' worst nightmare. Like,
oh man,
I dread.
Yeah, the
drummer,
looks,
and I'm like, our kids are not. We already have one drummer. No more. Too expensive. Too noisy. No.
So you can only imagine the looks on my parents' faces. So cleared out a big space in my room. Basically in my room there was a bed and a drum kit. Like that was it. And so just like threw myself at it. Didn't get lessons for like quite some time. Like as some people do, like they just whack on headphones and put on your favorite music and just play to it. So that's what I did for like a few years, and then a couple of my mates, my sister's friends, they were like, they could all play guitar and bass and stuff, but the missing piece was a drummer. And I was like 3 or 4 years younger than them. And they're just like, oh, your brother can play drums. He can join our band. I'm like, I sure can. I'm not good, but let's do this. And then, yeah, like that was my first band, like just jamming to all our favorite cover songs. Went down all the band competitions and all that stuff. And then fast forward like 18 years later, here we are.
Well, that's awesome, actually. That you just played with your sister's band.
Oh, it was actually my sister's boyfriend's band.
Oh, okay.
They just needed a drummer.
She wasn't in the band.
No. She
That
not
would have been
musically
even better.
talented.
Been like, oh, a little family affair.
Quick question. What if they broke up? Were you still in the band if they broke up?
Let's skip that question.
Doesn't sound good. So I've seen it mentioned that you guys take your inspiration from bands like Paramore, Fall Out Boy, and even Hot Milk. Did you guys have any bands that influenced you during your upbringing? And are these just some of the ones that shaped you and your musical style?
I definitely like one thing I was thinking about when we were talking earlier about the music scene in Australia. Something I have noticed is a significant decline with underage, like or all age shows. So that is probably that is the thing that got me like in front of live music and especially heavy music. And it's like I just remember going to so many all ages shows now like I never see any anymore, and it's super sad. But I think that was probably the thing that definitely shaped me. I remember going to Soundwave, and I was in front of like Falling in Reverse, Parkway Drive, that just shaped me. But like beyond that, people I never got to see, like Avril Lavigne is like my absolute top tier like idol, pop punk queen. for me. But yeah, what about you guys?
I think me and Ev are a little bit older than Liv, just to put things in context. So I grew up and like I think I remember just playing all of Green Day's American Idiot on guitar, and that was my high school life. And then actually things like Fall Out Boy I got into during my early days of uni. So a lot of all this pop punk influence came from when I was much younger. And then as I was getting a little bit older, I got a lot of exposure to the heavier side of things. I only got into Bring Me the Horizon maybe 5, 6 years ago. So I passed all their really heavy screamo stuff and got into the sort of the more chill, poppier stuff of
Mhm.
Bring Me. And I think stuff like I Prevail and a lot of the new metal scene is really cool as well, which have influenced a lot of the writing in my music at the moment as well.
Right. New metal is coming back a little more. It's been a little,
Yes, I
it's
mean, good
somewhat
old Limp Bizkit.
controversial, people say, but we all grew up with a little bit of new metal.
Yeah, and Linkin
Oh,
Park with the new vocalist.
yeah.
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 For me, like same thing. Like I'm a bit older. I actually had Blink 182's Enema of the State on cassette. So Blink 182
I've
for
never
me
even seen a
is,
cassette. Like I've never even seen a cassette in my
oh
life.
my
So that
God.
is
You know what? You know what? I know where it is. I'm gonna find it later and I'll whack it up on our story
Like,
on
Ev,
social
bring your
media.
Walkman.
Bring my Walkman with my headphones. Yeah, like for me growing up with most of my friends, like it was just pop punk. Like Blink 182 is like my ultimate idol. You know, for me the Tom DeLonge whiny vocals and Travis Barker on the drums like is just my ultimate. And I guess for me, like touching on what Liv was saying about seeing underage, or like not underage but like all ages shows,
All age.
I can all age shows. Yeah, I can remember my very first show was with my friend and my brother seeing Gyroscope and After the Fall at a all ages show at Reesby Workers, and just seeing that and seeing that genre of music, I was just fucking blown away. Just the energy and the intensity. I'll never forget those two shows. And then I don't know if you remember, Josh. Do you remember the festivals they did at Big Top at Luna Park?
Oh, that was so long ago. That was back when
Yeah,
Luna Park was still falling apart. Was
yeah, yeah. So going to those festivals with my brother, I can't remember if they were like all ages, but you know, like just all the pop punk, and that's when, like you said, a bit of that new metal, Linkin Park style music really started coming in that early mid 2000s. And then yeah, like Linkin Park was a pretty massive deal for me. Even like a bit of like hip hop and rap got into that, and then
oh yeah, good old
which
Eminem.
really, yeah, yeah. And like for me right now, like Falling in Reverse is probably my favorite band at the moment. Like Ronnie Radke can just do no wrong. Massive fan of everything that he's doing. Shout outs.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, Ronnie, shout outs. Yeah, like definitely that style has really shaped me as a drummer and what I enjoy playing and what I enjoy listening to. All that kind of like metalcore scene really speaks to me. So that kind of like high intensity energy pop punk infused with the like heavy breakdown double kick with some screaming, like that's where it's at for me.
Yeah. See, I'm older. I'm 40. I'll be 41 soon, which people never guessed that I'm going to be that old, but I my first concert ever was Paula Abdul.
Oh,
Right.
And that was in like 92.
92. Okay, I was
I was
five.
I was
So,
one. I was one.
Yeah, I was probably
I
like
was
10 or something.
going to be born 7 years from then.
It's crazy how there is such a difference in ages. Like you got this younger generation, and then you got someone my age who's been around a little bit. And then you've got people even older, like, MXPX, they are in their like late 40s and they've been around for 30 years. So it's crazy to think that, but it's nice to see that there's still bands coming out, new bands coming out, and even old ones still around years later. And man, oh man, hoping that Warp Tour revival happens.
oh,
Oh,
surely. He's come out and he said it's happening.
I
The
know,
the
but I want to know how
so
and how it's going to be.
And it better
and
actually happen.
oh
I don't want it to be
oh
this like, oh, it's Warp Tour and it's like 2 dates.
Not Warped
That's
Tour.
not a
Yeah.
tour. It's not a tour. Plus, I think did Warp Tour come to Australia back in the day?
yeah
Yeah, they did.
yeah
They did some dates. I thought so
yeah.
because I think they did some Australian stuff. So maybe they'll come to Australia with Warp Tour again.
Oh,
Oh,
fingers
fingers
crossed.
crossed.
Fingers crossed. Because like at the moment, we're not really getting massive headline festivals. Like apart from like Soundwave and Good Things, a lot of these kind of like still big, but like maybe that medium tier festivals, they're just not they're not coming together as big as Australia would like to. And we totally get it. Like it's really hard. Like,
Mhm.
you guys are flying like 20, 30 hours just to get here to play 3 shows. So we understand. We just hope that those massive festivals can reach Australia. But
Right.
it's like us. Like you guys have When We Were Young festival.
Right.
Oh, in Vegas. Oh, sign me up. Like I wish.
I wish too. I
I
haven't
get so
gone, so
jealous. Every time I see like a festival that's like in the States or UK, I get really excited when I just see the festival lineup and then I'm like, it's not going to be in Australia. And then I see the location. I'm like, yeah, no, didn't think so. Heartbreaking.
it would be heartbreaking to me as well. It's heartbreaking to me sometimes though, because like then there's like these tours that do hit Australia or do hit the UK, and I'm like, man, why can't that come here? But we get a lot of stuff, so I guess I shouldn't complain too much.
Not to us.
Yeah, not to Australia.
No, no. So I saw that there's a storm coming. What was that all about?
Oof.
The storm was 4 days ago. It was 4 days ago.
So
Yeah, like we had a mini discussion like before this Zoom podcast because it's a little bit tricky because obviously this is going to be actually released after the storm.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
what I figured. I figured. I figured.
like we can talk about it, right? Like
Yeah, I
yes,
mean, if you
yeah,
want to, you can talk about it.
yeah.
Because I think
Josh, do you want to
I
talk?
think we were gonna have this. I'm pretty
Thank you so
sure.
much, everyone.
I feel like this interview will be
Who gave us
released.
all the love for our new release single, When You Wake.
You can
I
tell me
I
about it.
was
It's okay.
okay. So like because obviously we're in the future. We have just released our second single called When You Wake, and it is a massive metalcore hit. The storm has hit, and basically, like as you know, our first single was catchy pop punk, and now we've gone a massive 180. We've gone into the storm, and we've released When You Wake.
Yes, so like viewer warning, you might get some musical whiplash from this next track. Prepare for some massive vocals within the first 15 seconds of this track.
Hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I can't wait to hear it.
Liv, you go.
Yeah, add something, Liv. How do you feel about this new track?
yeah. I'm like I said before, I'm super like curious and a little bit nervous to see how it's received because I think people have definitely put us in that pop punk category. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I've got those guys over here. Like I know what they're about. You don't know because we're
They know
about something
nothing.
they know nothing. You know nothing. So I'm really like I'm excited, but I'm like, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm really hoping that everybody is kind of like just takes it on board and is like, okay. Like I think it's definitely like really exciting for me to be like showcasing the versatility of like the different vocal techniques and things between Meant to Be and When You Wake. So I'm super excited for that feedback and to just let it out into the world.
It's out there
Do
already.
we
Just
want to
not for me yet.
play a little bit of it? Like, should we?
Ooh.
It's up
Maybe
to
like
you.
I'm done. I
the
mean, it's out now because we're in the future, like double time because it's future in the future.
I mean, this interview
okay, all
won't
right.
come out until like October 15th anyways. So
Okay, all right. For everybody
Will it
that's
play
listening,
well?
you've already heard it.
Can't hear it anymore.
The,
It's
the
gone so
audience, the
quiet.
audience
You
cut
were
out.
going first, and then I don't know what
The audience
happened.
cut out. That's
I
okay.
don't
We
know
just
if you
trust
can.
that the viewers have already listened to the track, and thank you so much for the love.
Yes, thank
That 3
you, thank
seconds
you.
was beautiful.
All right.
I
So
think, yeah.
if you have anything else to add, you can add.
Oh no, I was just going to say it was quite interesting when we were asking Liv to write some vocals for our tracks when we were first recruiting her. We were originally just going to be a pop punk band, and then I sneakily asked if she could scream, and she could. And so we decided to do both types of music. And so I'm just really sort of interested in how our audience will react to the two styles that we're going to do. And we're going to continue to release both styles.
Hey, you know what? If you can do both, why not? I mean, it just keeps people guessing what's the next single gonna sound like.
That's it. Yeah, totally.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
So now, if you guys could choose 3 bands to go on a dream tour with, who would you choose and why?
Should we
Oof.
get 1 each
Oh.
or we 3 each? Because I already have mine.
I mean, you guys can each have your own little dream tour if you want. It doesn't have to be just one tour.
Oh, oh,
It's
this
a
is
tough one.
hard.
It's a tough one.
Okay, mine is not even heavy music related at all, but I am obsessed with Chapel Rowan, and I just like if I got to tour with her, that would just be my life, just work complete. Just like, oh, that would be amazing. Would never happen, but would be amazing.
Never say never. There's always the future, right?
That's it.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna go.
Falling in reverse, eh?
Okay. So it's a big toss up because I've got 4, but if I really had to like narrow 3 down, and one of them is like mega left field, which probably won't make sense, but it's an artist that like I grew up listening to and I still listen to this day. So obviously Blink 182. The other one would be Falling in Reverse. And you know what? Dr. Dre. Growing up,
Fair.
his album 2001, I still listen to from start to finish. It's one of the greatest hour of my life. I could listen to that album from start to finish any time of the day. Oh, Dr. Dre, let's go.
Dr. Dre is the man, though. He is the man.
He hits hard. Well, what was your
Let's
fourth
tag
one,
it. We'll
Evan?
get something going.
Oh, if I could bring a 4th, yellow card.
Yeah, you could. I'll loan you one of mine. I don't know. These are the 2 bands I want to see live at the moment. So I think I definitely want to play with Bad Omens if I could. And the other one is Rain City Drive.
Yeah, Rain City Drive's great.
It's really good. And currently, I think probably one of my most favorite pop punk and heavy-ish songwriting people. My words aren't working. Anyway, is Magnolia Park.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Magnolia
Yeah,
Park's great.
massive.
They just had that
Yeah.
Disney
The-
song come out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. They just kind of came out of nowhere for me. I only discovered them about 3 months ago, and I've just been obliterating their catalog.
Yeah, no, they've got some great stuff coming, and I mean that whole Disney album that Disney put out, it's just great. I love it, and Yellow Card's on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ryan
yeah.
Key did a song. Yeah. So good.
They performed it live too. Him and Cassidy Pope, I think it was, right? Or was
Oh,
it?
I haven't watched it yet. It's on my to-do list is to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, they did it live at Disney, I believe.
Oof.
Right? I've never been to Disney World, so that's
Oh,
on
you
my
have to
bucket
go.
list. It's on my bucket list.
You,
Just coming to
have to go.
Australia is on my bucket list, but I don't know if I'll ever make it there.
You will. You will.
I had a lot of bucket lists back in growing up. I'm like, Australia. I was obsessed with Australia. So my dad every year got me like a calendar of Australia every year for Christmas.
That's so cute.
But I still haven't been there. Someday. So we did speak earlier about the scene in Sydney. Who are some of your favorite Australian bands? And are there any apart from your own band you believe people should be on the lookout for?
That's a awesome question. So what was the first half of it?
What are some of your favorite Australian bands?
Oh, I would say Stand Atlantic. They're like I do idol them a bit. What they've done and where they've come from. Like they've been around for I think like 8 or 9 years now, and to see how they've evolved and their career is just outstanding. You go into their Spotify catalog and to see where they've started to like where they are now, it's unbelievable. And a lot of people kind of forget that they are Australian because they're just relentlessly touring the world. I'd probably say my next one is the Amity Affliction. Same thing. They've shaped me with listening to heavy music. Youngbloods by them is literally the song that got me into metalcore. I remember hearing that on the radio like over 10 years ago. It's still one of my favorite songs. And like even a band like yours truly, same with their career and like where they've started and like where they are now. Like they're touring Europe like all the time. Big fans of them as well.
Yeah, I think
I
for
have a
me,
lot
an
of love.
oldie but a goodie. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
No, I was just going to quickly say I have a lot of love for Australia's female-fronted bands. So like we have some incredible, incredible musicians. So Relica, Future Static, Beautiful Monument, Vilify, like just incredible, incredible women doing incredible things. Red Hook, the list just goes on and on. And yeah, it's just like it's phenomenal it to be like in their presence and watching them perform. And I just hope to live up to that one day.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of any of those, so I'll have to look them up.
Definitely check them out. Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's already mentioned all the local bands that I was going to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was the other half. The other half was like bands apart from your own that you believe people should look out for. That was the other half of the question. So
that was what Liv was talking about.
Yes.
For me, I think going back to the first half of the question, an oldie and a goodie is Carnival, which got me into progressive metal. Yeah,
yes,
Carnival.
Yes.
Yeah. It really, when I first listened to their album, it sort of hurt my brain, but in a good way, because I couldn't really understand what was going on. But it kind of shaped how I would write heavier riffs to non-traditional sort of pop music styles.
So it helped you in your musical journey.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember listening to Themata when it first came out, like on repeat. Shutter Speed. I remember listening to that like just over and over and over again when that first came out. And I was like, what are they doing? Why can't I drum to this? What is happening? I reckon I've seen them like 5-6 times. They're incredible what they do live as well.
Yeah, and I think for the modern metalcore scenes, definitely stuff like Polaris and Alpha Wolf. Alpha Wolf is hitting hard recently.
Yeah, Polaris is actually playing Wisconsin soon. Next week, I think.
Oh, you should catch them. They're so good live.
I want to, but then I have another show the next day, and I'm like, oh, can I juggle both of those? Because I have to work during the week.
You definitely can.
Believe in yourself. You can
now.
I'm gonna be so tired if I do it though, man. I got to get up and work at 7 o'clock in the morning every day this week. So next week.
That is
rough.
Pretty tough.
It's rough. I'm 40. Remember, I'm 40.
Just a number.
It is just a number, but some days I feel like I'm 60. So you never know. Enjoy your youth while you can.
Until your knees start to hurt when you stand for 3 hours straight.
Yes, it does. It's this aging thing. Why can't we just not age?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
If none of us age, though, then the world would be overran by all of us, and we wouldn't have anywhere to live.
That's very accurate.
True.
Yeah,
it is true.
Pretty squishy.
So this next question isn't directly music related, but I'm curious. I'm a member of the Story of the Year Discord. They're my favorite band. And there are a few Australians who are on there, and they all include the C word in their username. Do you know what C word I'm referring to, and what are your thoughts on the use of this word?
It is so common they're used in Australia. Yes, it is. And
we're talking about the C-bomb, right?
Yes.
Insult or the biggest compliment? Like it's
Yes,
either a term of endearment or just absolute worst.
Some people hate that word, so I'm like, I'm just gonna call it the C word. Some people don't like that word.
How do they feel about it in the States? Like, because I think we're pretty used to that. Like,
I mean, in the States, it's actually derogatory. Like, if you call someone that, it's not nice.
Yeah.
But I've heard that in Australia, because we have Australians in that Discord, that they use it in their username. They're like, cunt Leah or something like that, They use their
That is
name,
kind of odd.
but it's kind of
But
funny
it's
because it's like, oh, I never heard this before ever in my life until I joined the Story of the Year Discord and there were Australians and they're using this. And I was like, okay. But I was curious
I
what your
think
thought
positive spin on
is on
it.
it. Do you guys use that
we
word?
we use it pretty much close to all the time. I mean, I don't think I've gone a day without hearing that word. Even when I'm just talking to like my friends or my patients or something like that, I will definitely hear that word at least once a day.
Is that a word that's commonly used in the aging population who are going deaf, Josh? So they're just like really, really over it.
Definitely, definitely.
Fuck wasn't enough. They're
But they
like,
want to
no,
use it
next
before
level.
they can't hear it anymore.
I know.
I
Very strange question for me to ask, but I had to.
like honestly, for me, I'm a tradie. I've been a tradie for over 20 years. And, you work with a bunch of guys anywhere between 20 years old to 60. Like that word is used in pretty much every sentence all day, every day in tradie life. Like that's just what it is. I think though, like from I guess it's like trying to take a step back and seeing that word, I find it's either like super derogative, like very hateful, very spiteful, and you want to get to the point to say you're a you're a C.
Right,
Um, but then like in day-to-day speech, like it's just another four-letter word.
right.
But also like from my point of view, it can also be like uh, a compliment, like, oh, he's a mad C, or like that was like all the time,
Or
all the
a couple
time.
one is loose, like loose C-U-N-T, or just mad
Yeah,
C-U-N-T.
yeah, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
it.
Like if they're a bit wild or a bit crazy, oh, he's loose. He's a loose C. And it's just kind of said in passing, but like still a lot of people do take offense to it. So I think you still have to kind of be careful out in public if you're just going to start throwing C's and F's around. In the public, and especially, I guess, to more females, like they don't.
My mum hates it.
I
My
don't.
mum's like,
Yeah,
if she ever hears it, no.
yeah. Like it's a pretty harsh. It's a very harsh word to
Right.
say. I guess like it can be used in a compliment way though. That's the thing. I guess you just kind of got to be careful with what kind of group and scenario you're in. Like, if you're out having fine dining in a five-star restaurant, you're not going to be saying like, "Hey, get us a wine, you see." No, you're not, you're not going to be saying that. But like, if you're down at your local pub eating palmy schnitzels, of course, like, yeah, get us another beer, you see, or watching the footy or whatever.
Got to
But
read the room. Got to read the room.
yeah,
I think this is the
absolutely,
most
Context is
absolutely.
Australian we
everything.
have ever
Oh
acted.
man, I feel like such a bogan right now, and
I love
fucking
it.
hell.
I love it. I love hearing it.
Evan, our resident bogan.
It brings me
Oh man,
it brings me to my next question. Can you teach me any Aussie slang?
Aussie slang.
Uh,
Kind of. I don't know. Just listen to me talk. Like I, I feel like I'm pretty bogan as they come.
See, I don't know what that
Grew
means.
up.
What does bogan mean?
I think one of the things, like I grew up in regional New South Wales, and there's some requirements if you're going to grow up in regional New South Wales that you have to speak. And one is the days of the week are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday? That one's hard to say. Friday. It really
Saturday.
doesn't come. And instead of like my water bottle, it's me water bottle. Like it's me water bottle. And I don't know if that just seems like the most unusual thing you've ever heard, but yeah, that's what we do here.
It's okay. It's okay. I get made fun of all the time from a coworker of mine because she's from New York area and I've been living in Wisconsin my whole life. And I say certain words and she's like, "What the heck did you just say?" Like I said bagel. Apparently I see bagel weird. And she's like, "It's this
like
way." And I'm
bagel?
like, and then I say it and I'm like, "Aren't I saying it right?" And she's like, "No." Bagel. I don't know.
What would she say? Bagel? Would it be bagel? Is that what
It's
she
because
says? And
it's because
you're
in
bagel?
Wisconsin you hold your A's and you hold your O's and stuff a lot longer.
Oh.
So it's more like bagel, I guess. I don't know. I don't hear it, but other people hear it. I don't get it.
Now that you mention it, it does sound weird. No, I'm just kidding.
But there's other words I
Uh,
say all the time too. And she's like, what did you just say? And I'm like, you heard me.
another another big Australian thing is like, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, nah,
Yeah,
yeah,
nah, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
You can explain it.
yeah,
Yeah, nah
yeah.
means no. Nah, yeah means yeah.
No, no, yeah. I don't know if
Yeah, nah,
any of
nah,
that
yeah.
makes. Yeah, I don't know if any of this makes sense, but it makes sense to us. Like, yeah, nah, or nah, yeah. It's
Yeah, nah,
it
yeah.
means
And you go,
yeah,
It could mean either yes or no, depending on the
yeah,
context.
See, you got to have
I,
context.
yeah. It's the last word which is the correct one. So if I'm like yeah, nah, that means no, as in yes, that is no. But if I say nah,
Yeah.
yeah, that
that's
means
perfect.
yes. But other people can be like, yeah, nah, yeah. That means a big strong no because you've followed it up with another yeah. Is it?
Uh, and I think we like to put
Oh,
we
yeah.
like to put O's on the end of words. Like I had a friend from the States. He used to live in New York, and I told him to pull up to the servo, and he had no idea what that meant. So servo is shortened version of a service station. So we say
Okay.
servo, and instead of the bottle shop, we call it a bottle-o. Or if I've got a friend
Arvo
called
in the
David,
afternoon.
we call him Davo.
Arvo. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, now
Arvo,
I got,
afternoon.
I got to know. Okay, so in Wisconsin, we call it a bubbler, but you may call it a drinking fountain or a water fountain. Which is it?
We call it a
Okay,
bubbler here.
so it's
I
this
called it
this
a
is a
bubbler.
very controversial question because on the east coast of Australia, especially in Sydney and Melbourne, there's big rivalries between these type of questions. So for Sydney, we call it a bubbler, right? But down in Melbourne, they say drinking fountain, and there's another word that they use as well, where it's like, what are you talking about? Like,
It's so fancy.
it's a
Drinking
yeah,
fountain.
yeah, drink. Oh, I'm just going down to the park for a drinking fountain. Said
Drinking
no one
fountain.
ever.
So you're
Yeah,
telling me that you say bubbler?
Yeah.
yeah,
We
we
say
say
bubbler in
bubbler.
Sydney.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
this is a
In school, like
revelation.
growing up in school, just going to the bubbler. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Just go on to the
See?
bubbler.
And in
There's
Wisconsin, we
always
only
a
call it a bubbler because we have a company named Kohler that came out with one and they called it the bubbler. So it just was always bubbler.
huh.
Maybe we got it from you guys then, from
Maybe
that
you
company.
did.
The origin story. Yeah.
That's
An
crazy though.
origin story.
Oh my gosh, I met people that call it a bubbler and I don't get made fun for calling it a bubbler. I make fun of people all the time when they call it a like water fountain. I'm like, that's what's in the park that you throw coins
Yeah, and
into.
don't drink out of that. Definitely.
No,
Yeah,
don't drink
yeah,
that.
I'm just
Especially not
like,
in
it's
Sydney.
not a water fountain. It's a bubbler.
no.
I'll accept drinking fountain, but water fountain, no.
No.
I'm making wishes in a water fountain.
Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing koi fish in a drinking fountain, water fountain,
In a water
fountain.
fountain.
Now they're
Don't,
getting
don't drink the koi,
old.
myth.
Don't drink koi fish. Don't do it.
So these last few questions have all been like random fun ones that I just wanted to ask. So living in Australia, who would survive the longest stranded in the outback?
Out of us three?
Yes.
Oh, I've got a feeling all of us are pretty resilient to the changes.
Yeah.
Although I have to say I am not great in the sun, so I will probably turn into a red tomato and die first.
Like honestly, Liv, sorry, it would be me. I would survive the longest.
I just think I disagree, and I have the most fucked up answer for this. I am breastfeeding, so I have my own food source.
Ooh, okay, okay.
If
Uh-oh.
it came to all
Okay.
you guys have is your pee. If you had to drink something, it would be your pee, as Bear Grylls does. But me, I'm on a new level. I'm elitist. I'm not drinking my own pee. So
I don't have to drink my pee. I'll be dead by then.
Yeah, he'll be
Okay,
shriveled up
well,
and dead. You guys can eat him.
Yeah, well, this is what I think we should do. Liv, me and you, we will cook Josh. That's it, done. He'll shrivel up and die.
He's gonna be shriveled up and
And-
he's gonna be beef jerky.
Yeah,
There you
jerky by
go.
then.
Yeah.
Korean beef jerky. Let's go.
Korean beef jerky, delicious.
This is taking a turn. This is taking a turn.
And Josh is going to get
Definitely
very
not
nervous
dark.
if we ever book a regional tour. He's going to be like, no, no.
I watched Wolf Creek. I know what's happened.
Now I gotta know, have any of you guys been to Perth?
A very long time ago, so only when I was a kid.
Oh, darn. I just wanted to
I
know if
had a
you've
trip
ever
booked,
I've
but it
always
got
wanted.
cancelled during COVID. Yeah.
Oh, were you gonna go meet Quokkas? Because that's what I want to
Yeah,
know.
Quokkas, and our plan was to actually go up north. There's a place called Exmouth, I believe. We're going to go swim with whale sharks, but again, all of that got cancelled.
Ugh, that sucks. No, because I'm like I love like animal documentaries, and then I came across Quokkas, and I'm like Rottnest Island, and I'm like I want to go there. I want to get a selfie
It's like
with
Only
a,
a cute little
place that they
Quokka.
live.
it's like a,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the only place
So
that they live.
so basically you get on a ferry and I think it's about
Yeah,
a 1 or 2 hour ferry that goes to Quokka Rottnest Island. And basically there's just quokkas everywhere doing their own thing. It's protected and they just come up and say hello and you can feed them. And there's like a big track that goes around like the whole island and you can like rent push bikes and you can ride around the
yeah.
island and stop and take photos.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've never been,
they don't
but
let cars
yeah,
on the island because they don't want anyone
no,
running any
no,
Quokkas over.
definitely not. No,
And
no.
you're not allowed to
And
touch them.
they're
Not allowed to touch
no,
them.
they're always smiling though. If you Google them,
I know, I love them so much. Love them so much. It's on my bucket list. I'll just add another thing to my bucket list.
You're gonna run out of buckets soon.
I have a lot of buckets. I have a lot of
Nice.
buckets. And my last and final question, we've been asking every band this question. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Ooh.
Sometimes people have to
I
think a
love this
little.
question because I've just started. I think I'm on the like second last Jurassic World film. We started from Jurassic Park again, and I'm like, this is. And despite watching all those films, I cannot even tell you the name of one dinosaur other than a T-Rex is one. That's my ceiling.
Oh man, like don't get me wrong, you know, raptors and T-Rex, they're pretty cool, but everybody chooses them, so that's like pretty boring. You know, old mate Stegosaurus, like he's cool, but I think, you know, he seems a bit lonely. What's the big long neck guy, the Brontosaurus?
Brontosaurus. I like Brachiosaurus.
Yeah, like, but once again, he's just like chewing on leaves all day. But I feel like that's a bit boring. Maybe the pterodactyls, like at least you can fly them, and maybe not so much like hunted by the raptors. So I'm just going to choose the pterodactyl out of, you know, process of elimination.
Very methodical.
I'm gonna kind of evade this question, and I choose Charizard.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's gonna make it a
You know
Pokemon
what?
dinosaur.
fuck! Should have chose Charizard too.
I knew it.
He picked a Pokemon dinosaur.
Yes, my answer is
Damn
Charizard.
it!
I mean, you can have another one if you want to. If you also want to have Charizard as one, you can have him.
No, but then they'll just be a copycat. So you know what? You have your Charizard. I respect
Thank
you
you.
with Charizard.
There's other dinosaur Pokemon like
Look,
Aerodactyl.
Blast.
You could be
Yeah,
Aerodactyl instead of a pterodactyl.
nah. Aerodactyl gets easily defeated by like one water move. So no thanks.
This turned into a Pokemon talk now. It's funny because I'm actually doing a Pokemon puzzle at work
Oh,
because I work at a thrift store and so people donate stuff and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start doing puzzles in the break room just when I'm on break. And so, now I'm doing a Pokemon puzzle.
My
I've got to
only
ask you.
like who's going?
We all
You
talk
go.
at once.
You go.
Continue.
No, you go.
They said, Liv, you can go.
Oh, that's me. My only experience with Pokemon is like we have a big shopping center chain here called, is it Coles that does it? And there's like the little, what are they even
Oh,
called? My
yeah,
daughter
the
collects
collector
them.
thingies.
Yeah, you can collect them, like you buy a certain amount of shopping and you get like this little cardboard cutout Pokemon and you can like, I have a million of them all over my house and that's my only knowledge of Pokemon.
Hey, you got some knowledge. I mean, I
That's
play
it.
Pokemon Go still, so
Oh,
not
Oh
Oh,
my gosh.
religiously,
I forgot
but I
about
still
that.
play it.
that was a thing.
That took the world by
Forgot that was a
storm.
thing.
Yeah.
My husband's like, I can't believe you still play that. And I'm like, I don't like sit there and play it every day. I turn it on randomly here and there, but still got to catch them all. Duh.
another zinger.
Haven't
Oh, the
caught them all
zingers.
yet. Gotta catch them
I
all.
haven't caught them all.
I'm full of zings, I guess.
The
I don't
less
know.
catchy slogan.
Well, that was my last question, the dinosaur question. So I just want to thank you guys again for reaching out and then coming on the podcast. Wish Chris could have been here because I'm sure he would have enjoyed the conversation as well as I did. But yes, thank you so much for coming on.
We just want to say a massive, massive, huge, enormous thank you to everyone that has stuck around with us and everybody that has jumped on board our adventure. Like, we are so grateful and humbled every day with like all the messages and pump up messages that we get and all the compliments. Like, none of it goes unnoticed. And like, really, like, we can't thank you enough for jumping on our debut single as well. We're super proud of it. And like, obviously, being in the future, thank you for listening to our brand new single, When You Wake. We're also so fucking proud of it. And we hope you receive it just as well as our first one. And we've got so much to come. Like, this is honestly just the beginning for us as a band and what Forever at Midnight is going to give to the world.
Anyone else want to add anything? Or did Evan say it all?
He said everything I was going to say. Thank you for having us on your podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll just say I hope you like me screaming, and I hope that it it translates well, and that you enjoy the different type of vocals this time.
I'm sure everyone would love it. Or has loved it because it's in the
Oh
future
yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Has loved it.